Good morning.
Good morning.
We are in historic center of São Luís, capital of the state of Maranhão, in the northeastern region of Brazil. This place is incredible. Like when you enter from this street, you don't even know where to look. There is so much culture, history, and a lot of things that we really want to cover and show you. Starting with this gorgeous, absolutely breathtaking building. This is called Palácio dos Leões, and as you can see, there are some lions also here and there, the statues, not the real ones obviously. And there is a lot of history behind this building. Why this place is called Palácio dos Leões. At the time, the people who were in charge, they were charging everyone, the citizens, a lot of taxes, hefty taxes. And people would call the taxman like a lion. Why? Because lion comes with the claws and just takes whatever that it can. So the taxman and the government was actually called the lion. So
it's still today, actually.
Well,
in
yes.
Brazil, in Brazil, you still call the fisc, or like what would be the IRS or CRA in Canada or in the US. Here it's called o leão, the lion, which is the one taking whatever they think
his share, you know.
Yes.
But anyway, this is the history behind the name of this place. And now you see, there is even like statues of lions at the door.
And the sad part is that the politicians, they like the name and they kept the name. That's why, like, and then they are even proud of like the lions and everything else of of what they do.
Yeah. So things might have changed, technology and everything else, but we are still all dealing with the lions. Some things, I guess, don't change. And at the entrance also you see 4 other statues of lions. This building right now is the office and the official residence of the governor of the state of Maranhão, and that's why you see a lot of cops, checkpoints and police at the entrance. So this is basically where they work, and the other building next door is the city hall of the city of São Luís.
And this building is called Palace of Ravardière, which is a French name, and we are going to actually explain why the name is French.
So, the name is French because in 1612, when it was assumed that Portugal has the control of this part of the territory of Brazil because they were in control of the rest of Brazil as well, the French came here and actually claimed this territory for themselves. And they are the ones who built this palace. And they were under the command of this person, Daniel de la Touche, and also with the other French admiral called François de Razilly. And this is the statue of Daniel de la Touche. So they built the palace and basically they claimed control of this territory.
The palace initially was a fortress actually, and built for the King Louis XIII. And actually that's why the name of the city is São Luís, because it was named after the king at the time, King Louis XIII, and also the one king before, the ninth. He became a saint after he died in one of the crusades in the Middle Age. So that's why the city is also called São Luís, because of the kings in France.
And also São Luís and only two other capitals of the states in Brazil are islands. São Luís is an island, and the other two capitals are Vitória from the state of Espírito Santo and our beloved city of Florianópolis, where Mariana is from. So there you have it. And from here also, oh my God, look at the beautiful street that leads to the water at the end. As I said, there is so much that we want to talk about that I might go off track and lose my train of thoughts, because every corner has so much history, so much architectural details. Like this building that now is the City Hall of São Luís. Across the street, this gorgeous looking building is actually Palácio da Justiça. So it's the Justice Palace for the state. Another thing that happened that is really interesting, we were actually sitting down there and we saw a family coming, and the gentleman is Brazilian, but the wife, she is Canadian, and they are also here visiting. It was very interesting because he said, I actually used to work in this building when I was living in Brazil, and now, because he is from here, he is from São Luís, and now he's visiting, and he came to the same place that he used to work when he was living in Brazil. Very nice couple, and it was nice to see other Canadians also leaving and coming here to visit Brazil. At the end there is a square and a church that we are going to visit. After you pass the palace, before you get to the church, there is also this little square that is called Praça dos Poetas, which is dedicated to the writers and poets from the state of Maranhão. And along the way you also see like signs with the name of the people that they want to show respect to. There is some signs here, and then there is some more further down, and we will go to the end to show you the view as well.
And this poem by Gonçalves Dias, the one that we actually had to know by heart at school, and we had each one of the students, they have to actually recite it to the teacher like a few times during the whole school year, and until today I can still like remember like me reciting because all the words too, they rhyme. And
so without looking, say it.
Now I don't.
Minha terra tem palmeiras onde canta o sabiá, as aves que aqui gorjeiam não gorjeiam como lá. Nosso céu tem mais estrelas, nossas várzeas têm mais flores, nossos bosques têm mais vida, nossa vida mais amores.
Here you also have a very cute artwork, and it shows basically the historic center where we are right now. It's very cute. And here there is actually a map of all the tourist activities that you can find, all of the places that you should visit, and here is a map that then you can find it on the map to go there. And we are actually there. It says you are there, and then this is the whole part, which interestingly is also considered a UNESCO heritage site since 1997. And the original plan of the streets and roads is kept. From the time that it was planned, the plan of the roads and the streets has not changed. And when you come to the end of this square, then you are rewarded by this beautiful view.
The name of the island where the city of São Luís is located is Pão Açu. And then because it's located on an island, we see many bridges that connected like one part on one land region to the island.
The city of São Luís and the island is located on San Mark Bay, which is this region here. And in the last 10 years, actually this region here didn't exist. But because the city is having an economic boom, thanks to the port that is located here, like the city has been developing a lot, and this part here didn't exist 10 years ago.
So in 1612, first the French came here and claimed the territory. 3 years later, 1615, Portuguese came and they took it back from the French. However, in 1941, the Dutch attacked the city and they wanted to have a claim on this part of the territory that technically belonged to the Portuguese. And once again, that also did not last so long. Again, 3 years after, 1944, 1945, the Portuguese came and they retook the territory from the Dutch this time. However, the first time that they had to fight the French, at the time, Portugal being a Catholic, let's say, empire at the time, they made a promise to their gods that if we win the battle against the French, we promise to actually build a church in São Luís, which is the church that has been built right here.
This is the church of Nossa Senhora da Vitória, which in Portuguese means victory, and that is the one that they promised to build after they won the battle against the French. And there is even a sign above there, it says 1629, and then there is another one, says 1922. Maybe in 1922 it was again renovated and put in better shapes.
The building here, just besides the church, it is a museum, but a museum for religious art. So here inside, of course today's Sunday, it's closed, so we cannot visit, but inside you're gonna find many artifacts from religious and from different religions actually.
Also, we are here on a Sunday, and as you can see, Sundays there is a street market that happens, and we actually wanted to come here today because yesterday we came, and even though it was the weekend, but because it was a Saturday, there was nothing happening. Actually, the whole street was empty. So we came here today to also see the market. So here we just bought coconut water, which was 6 reais each. Then you can find all the other typical products also, cashew, coconut oil, and all the other products like these bottles. I think they're jam, and you can even taste. He allows you to taste a bit, and then if you want you can buy some.
Yeah, jams from like fruits from here, actually, very specific and traditional fruits from the region.
And here you can also see cachaça that is being sold. I think you can taste a little bit also. Then if you want, you can buy it. And there is reggae music being played here because it is very, very famous and they really like it. There is even a museum of reggae, which is the biggest museum of reggae outside of Jamaica, and you'll find it here. And along the way that you're walking in the streets, you see a lot of buildings with the typical Portuguese styles, like these ones here. We are going to have another video covering these buildings with the special tiles that they have, the history behind them, all of that we will cover in another video. I just wanted to show you how the buildings look like.
We wanted to also talk a bit further down, but there is a lot of very, very loud music that even though we are like 2 blocks away, we can still hear it. So it wasn't that comfortable to talk or to even explain. We showed some of the traditional food items here that are being sold, and they're specific from the state of Maranhão. And there is actually a sweet that is also typical of this region. We bought one. As soon as we find a place that is more quiet and we can talk to you and explain it, we'll show that to you too. Okay, so we were walking and we saw a lot of people with these drinks. So we said, okay, let's try it. Again, I wanted to film it and explain to you guys how it works, but there was so much noise and music and dogs barking and people shouting. Everybody is having a blast on, obviously. So then we just got the drinks and we're just walking away from the noise. Mine is with cachaça and passion fruit, and there's ice in it too. And Mariana, what did you get?
It is passion fruit juice, but with no alcohol and nothing. Just like did you? I didn't
No, I
try
didn't try.
it.
Go ahead.
it's very refreshing.
So I definitely needed something because I'm sweating. My God, it's really hot. At some point even the battery of our camera just died because of the heat. It basically comes in a Ziploc. This is your container. But it's very good. Wow. Basically it's a caipirinha but with passion fruit.
Can you taste the alcohol? Very strong or?
No, very, very little. Not that much actually. And they're keeping us safe. See? No worries.
Another thing very interesting is about the streets. As I mentioned before, these streets are actually the original streets from the time that the city was planned in the 17th century. And this is a typical characteristic of the Portuguese, I would say urban planning maybe, or construction, that as you can see there is very, very little space on the side for sidewalks. I don't know, historically or culturally, they would not leave like wide sidewalks. Here you have, I don't know, maybe this was an exception, but most of the streets you see very narrow sidewalks. And we drove by it yesterday. Some streets, basically there was no sidewalk whatsoever.
I think the reason why the sidewalks are very narrow, it's because the sidewalks, they belong, but they are the responsibility of the homeowner. So like you can build as much as you want up to the whole sidewalk, and that belongs to you. It's different from other like countries and cities that we have been, that the sidewalk actually it's the city's responsibility. So here, like the idea, even in back home in my street, the sidewalks were like very narrow, and the owners of the houses there, they always said, because it's land that belongs to me, so I want to have the biggest part of my land belonging to me and inside my own garden house.
So basically it comes down to using most amount of square meter or square footage that you have from your land.
And since I mentioned before that reggae music is very, very popular here, this is the museum that I mentioned. It is considered the largest reggae museum outside of Jamaica, which is here in São Luís.
I would buy all of them, all the faces, to take it home.
Very beautiful. Olá, posso gravar? Obrigado. Nossa. Uau.
Esse é o trabalho 100% artesanal, todo ele feito à mão, desenho, pintura, tudo.
So these are all artisanal work, and they are all handmade, 100% handmade, all of these tiles. Beautiful. We walked a bit and we ended up in this cute little street. There are a few shops, like the one with the tiles and vases that we showed you. Very nice, and it's much more quiet. So we can actually talk and film in peace. Again, it's Sunday, so obviously a lot of people come here on Sundays for the fair to enjoy actually the noise and the hustle and bustle that is happening. And now we are at the Museum of Gastronomy. Let's see what's in there. So we actually just finished our tour here. It's very interesting. As you enter, there is this table that talks about different dishes that are actually typical of this region. If you watched our previous videos, there is one that we did in Baherinha, and in the restaurant we actually tried a rice that was green rice with pieces of dried shrimp. That rice is a mix of the herb here, which is mixed with the rice, and the rice becomes green. And this leaves, this plant that creates these leaves is actually called flor de vinaigre. Also, you have different influences of different ethnicities on the local cuisine. The natives, the Portuguese that were colonizing at the time, and they were the ones who colonized Brazil basically, and the Africans that were brought here as slaves. Then you have different types also of sweets and other products that you can see here. This is the sweet that we actually bought, and we are going to try it later. And there is also different types of liquor. These are cachaça. This one is called tequila, which is actually made of cassava. So basically cachaça is from the sugar cane and tequila is from cassava. And actually you have to leave it in the leaves of tangerine for 2 years in order for the liquid to become this purplish color. If you remember from the previous videos, also we tried this drink, Guaraná Jesus, which is not a typical Guaraná, but it is very refreshing, has a very nice taste, and it's also pink, the drink. This was actually made here in Maranhão and by a person who was a pharmacist. Basically, they were using this formula for medication and for, cough syrup to give it to the kids. And then everybody liked the taste so much that he decided to actually make a soft drink out of it. And after a few years, actually Coca-Cola bought the exclusivity and the right to production of this soft drink.
And Jesus is his name, has nothing to do with religion. Actually, was the name of the pharmacist was Jesus Norberto Gomes, and that's why he put the name on the soft drink.
Then you can also visit some other parts that are dedicated to the seafood that you find in this region, the typical houses, and also the typical pots that they would use to cook in it. We finished our visit of the Museum of Gastronomy, and as promised, now we are going to try the sweets that we bought, and Mariana is going to explain to you the history behind this sweet.
So this sweet is actually, it is called doce de espécie, or sweet of species, because it's made by coconut. Coconut at that time was something, it was a commodity, and it was something very special and expensive. So these people in the city of Alcântara, which is the city that is just across the bay from San Marco Bay, it was announced at the time that Dom Pedro II was coming to visit the city because the city had one of his last names, which is Alcântara. Then the whole city decided to create a sweet so they could serve him or give it to him, because they knew that he liked a lot of sweet. and especially like fig sweet, which is something only found in Europe, not here in Brazil. So here in Brazil, they made this sweet for him, for his visit. But guess what? He never came. He never visited the city, but there is this sweet until today. The sweet is made by coconut and flour. And then there is still one shop here in São Luís that still sells the original one. So when you come here, try to find the original one that has only coconut and flour. I'm gonna try to see if it's good. I believe I'm gonna like it. Oh. It's actually really good. It has something else. It's really good. It reminds me of something that sweet that my grandmother used to make, but you can really taste the coconut.
Okay, this is becoming like a torture. Now I'm so curious to try it now. No, finish now. It's good.
Yeah.
Then I know there is a good surprise for me, waiting for me.
You can try.
Let's see. I'm gonna try the same one.
Oh my God, Don Pedro missed out, big time.
It's a very nice sweet, and I think it's gonna be really good with coffee.
Oh yes, absolutely.
No? Yeah. All right, so we're gonna end the video here. Don't forget to subscribe and like our video. See you in the next one.